Welcome to this presentation from CalTech on our new offering, the CyberDefense Program. This presentation is aimed to share the benefits and features of the program and how it can help you improve your cybersecurity posture. I'll be the presenter for today. My name is Zibion Serrato and I am the Director of Information Security. I've been with CalTech now for over 11.5 years and served as a mentor with CalTech for 9 years and operate out of the East Texas area in Tyler, Texas. The agenda for today is going to be why CalTech designed the CyberDefense program, and then we'll go into the features and benefits of the program, and then allow some time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. So, as CalTech grew and established reviewed the gap that our customers had when dealing with cybersecurity, we noticed a common theme. The impact of cyber events on our customers was pretty big. And the increased regulation that was being put on our customers, they simply didn't have the staff or the resources to put into place to assist with addressing these cybersecurity issues. Not only did they not have the personnel to work on these systems, but they also lacked a standard in the industry and standards that they could really develop and deploy these systems into a maintainable, functional system. These systems were very difficult and very expensive to maintain and to operate. From there is where we started noticing that common area for our customers in developing this program. So you'll see the common theme within that as we go over these slides. Looking over the features of the program, which we'll dive into more of the details here in the further slides. The program includes a SIEM, Security Information Event Management Tool, and IDS and IPS. We do internal and external vulnerability scans, provide cybersecurity awareness training, end-user phishing testing, and also support our customers as they prove through the cybersecurity assessment tool. Along with the program, we assist with the audit and exam processes for customers, as well as providing different reports that IT committee can review and they can present to the board as well for that proper oversight. We'll start out with the presentation. We're looking at the SIEM portion of the program. SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. It means capturing those events, alerting on those events, and seeing what's going on within the customer's network. The system that we partnered with SecureWorks for is the Counter-Threat Appliance. This is a small virtual machine that we get deployed in the customer's network. It collects all the event logs from customers' network devices, things like the Windows their firewall, the Windows servers, and any other systems within the customer's network that provide event log information that may be critical to alerting on. Traditionally, SIEM has been very challenging for customers to deploy. It can be very expensive to deploy and then very expensive to maintain. You consider the average customer where the amount of logs they produce on a daily basis when you're talking about these different sources, that amount of data, to manage that amount of data over time and retain that over the time period required is very extensive. And then beyond that, to have these systems in place to be able to alert on those events that do require attention and weed out the ones that are just noise can become very, very challenging event. So with this process here, we partner with SecureWorks. We bring in all these events from those different systems, capture those within the appliance that are locally customer's network. They are then analyzed and reviewed for what threats may be in those events, and then alerts triggered based on that. These appliances are being fed threat feeds from SecureWorks, their counter-threat unit, which is getting information from sources like the FBI, FSISAC, and other information-sharing organizations, as well as their own team and their own researchers internal within SecureWorks. One success story that we have with the customer that we put the system in place, through the deployment of the system, we identified there was a misconfiguration in the Windows in their existing firewall. Able to work with their account team to identify the issue and resolve that within a very short period of time just by having the system deployed. Another major component of the CyberDefense program is the intrusion detection and the intrusion prevention system, also referred to as IDS, IPS. This is a fully managed system. Essentially, you put in place SecureWorks' iSensor. This is one of their flagship products. This is a physical appliance that is placed between the firewall and the window and their customer's network. This device is initially placed into a learning mode, where we can identify the trends within the customer's network and try to identify anything that may need to be, any rules that may need to be adjusted to allow normal production to happen. The iSensor provides real-time monitoring of the traffic to look at not only just the trends of what's going on with the customer's network, but also to be able to block those threats in real time. After the initial learning mode, we do put it in prevention mode. That then is able to provide real-time protection of the data going across the customer's network. This provides some very detailed information. In the event that there is a malicious traffic in the network, the iSensor is able to block that traffic and then also fire off an alert to let us know that something suspicious is going on and we need to look into it. Those alerts are graded based on severity, and our engineers, our security analysts, work with the engineers on CalTech's team, and they can go in there and identify the source of that and go ahead and block whatever may be happening in. In one case, the iSensor, we have seen it be able to block a ransomware attack. Ransomware where it's able to block the process of the workstation that's trying to receive the certificate, and in that place, it's able to block those certificates from happening and the encryption from happening moving forward. The advanced endpoint threat detection is another component of this program. This is also a portion that we partner with SecureWorks for. It's called the Red Cloak Agent. The Red Cloak Agent is installed on their Windows servers, and this takes a deeper dive into what's going on within those Windows servers. We're able to look at different processes that are active, memory that's in use, network connections, and then tie this information back with the CTA. Remember, the CTA is a SIEM. It's to collect all that log information and correlates those to see where the threat's coming from and really provide us a deeper level of information that's going on. With the Red Cloak Agent, it'll also provide us very detailed information to know to quickly be able to identify the source of the threat and go in there and remediate that threat. Within the program, we've noticed that a critical component of this has to be internal and external vulnerability scans. We've partnered with Qualys, which is also provided through our partnership with SecureWorks, to do internal and external vulnerability scans. These scans, as part of the program, within our scope, we are providing quarterly scans for the internal and for external scans. The internal scans are an authenticated scan against the network. We're able to dive deep into the workstations and servers and identify not only what patches may be missing, but also identify what vulnerabilities may still exist. A patch management system is responsible for installing patches, but not necessarily remediating all vulnerabilities on systems. Some vulnerabilities do require additional steps to properly remediate that. As a part of the CyberDefense program, we have worked very closely with our NOC team to develop these different scripts that we can push out as part of our program to take those extra steps and remediate those vulnerabilities. With the scans we have put in place, we are able to go in and in the event the customer has a large project and we're replacing workstations or servers, we can also go ahead and do a scan on demand at that time. That way when those systems are put into production, we know that they're clean from the get-go. So CalTech recognizes that we may be able to put all these systems in place. We may be able to put solid firewalls, the firewall monitoring, the intrusion detection, intrusion prevention systems in place. But from there, we still rely heavily on end users. Our end users are actively working with our systems. They have passwords, they have authentication, they have access to these different systems. All it takes at that point is for a user unintentionally clicking on a link, opening an attachment, going to a website, for them to be compromised. So to take this a step further, the program also includes phishing testing, so we can see what's going on with our users, what is it that they're likely to click on. That may be a malicious email, and then also provide security awareness training. The phishing tests we're doing on a monthly basis. We provide reporting back to the customer based on that as well, to let them know how they are faring. And then the quarterly end user training. When the customer's first enrolled, we do provide some basic 101 cybersecurity awareness training for customers and for their end users, and then from there it's on a quarterly basis we can provide that training. As part of the program, we have also developed some responses for the customer as you go through and step through the cybersecurity assessment tool. We have identified that through the processes and systems that we put in place for the CyberDefense program that customers are able to answer 50% of those baseline items automatically. That is a combination of our security standards as part of the program, and then also the different systems we put in place through CalTech as a standard. And that makes it much easier to comply with that. Initially, when the cybersecurity assessment was rolled out, regulators were just asking the simple question if customers had completed the assessment, and now it's transitioned to more of that not only have you completed the assessment, but where are your answers, and then now show me evidence of how you are able to say yes to these different items. And as a component of CyberDefense, we can now provide you not only that you can confidently say yes on these items, but you can also say yes because of these components within CyberDefense. Specifically, we are able to say yes on these items. So a big focus with our examiners at this point has been board oversight. They realize that our board has to be very well educated into what the bank is doing in terms of cybersecurity and be well informed on what's being accomplished, whether we're talking about audit items or just normal status of patches, vulnerabilities, antivirus, whatever. They have to be aware of that. So within this program, we've developed a series of reports, some that are monthly basis that are reviewed by IT committee, and then some that are on a quarterly basis that are then reported to IT committee and they can be taken to board. The board reports are more of an executive summary report, provide high level reports on what it is they need to be aware of is going on within the bank. And we provide explanation of what the reports mean. We can provide you a lot of information, but if you're unable to interpret what that means, if it's good report or bad report, it doesn't make a whole lot of use. So with this, we also provide an explanation of what these reports are and what to look for. As we establish the gaps that we're seeing with our customers, we noticed that many of them were doing a very good job with managing their audit and exam processes. They had somebody who was responsible for it and make sure that they were tracking their items. But there were many of our customers that just didn't have a really good process for that. They may have been doing a good job of remediating the findings and taking care of that, but overall it wasn't very well documented, and they weren't prepared for the next time the examiners came around. So as part of this program, we have also included audit and exam management. What this means is that as we prepare for, go through, and then after an audit and exam, we'll work with the bank to provide information for them. And then once the list of findings have been provided to the bank, we'll take those and develop a tracking system that we can go in and assign responsibilities for those findings and work with our engineers on CalTech, and then also work with the customer to make sure that these items are being remediated. Along the process of remediation, some of the items may take longer than a month, some may take 6 months, some may take a whole budget cycle. We provide reports back to the customer on what the status is of those findings. This shows a simple chart of what those reports look like, whether a finding has been completed, which items are in process. There may be some items we have to provide some future budgeting for and maybe carry over to the next year. And this is a snapshot of what a report looks like. It shows the finding, the source of the finding, and what the response has been from management that management has approved. Through the CyberDefense program and our time with our conversations with auditors, we have developed also security standards. This document provides documentation on things that we already do as a standard through CalTech systems, but then also additional policies on systems and services we put in place as part of the CyberDefense program. This document is provided to our customers, shows you what we're doing, and then also shows you feedback on where the source was for this policy. If we say that we're enforcing password complexity, then it also points back to either the requirements of your FIC handbook or the CAT tool that suggests or recommends this particular policy. And then we also provide enforcement of these policies through the NOC. Through the NOC, we've developed different scripts that enforce these different configurations, and then we can also provide you with compliance report that your systems are in compliance with these different policies. A major topic of conversation right now around cybersecurity is not only do you have these different systems and services in place to protect you, but then also what does your incident response plan look like? because as it is, it's common now that it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. It may be a small event, it may not be a major enterprise-wide threat, but it may be a cybersecurity event in general. And so your regulators are pushing to make sure that we have some kind of cybersecurity response plan ready to go in the event that something happens, the event of when something happens. So as part of this program, we're providing our customers with support around that. We'll help you with reviewing those plans, and then also providing for annual testing of that plan, kind of step through what does that look like and how would we react from a bank's perspective, from CalTech's perspective, maybe from a vendor's perspective in the event of an incident. We have different sample scenarios, and we're developing others that we can help you with and walking through an annual test of that. All of the customers of CalTech are probably familiar with our threat response team. The threat response team is responsible for sending out notices to customers as threats and vulnerabilities are identified and that may impact our customer base. And these threats and notices have been targeted to customers and letting you know what is it that is the threat and what is it that CalTech has done, or what are the actions you should take in response to these particular threats. As a subscriber of the CyberDefense program, this takes it a step further. Through the tools that we have in place with SecureWorks' iSensor, the CTA, the Red Cloak, these all tie into these vulnerability feeds and threat feeds we're getting from FBI's InfraGard, US CERT, FDIC, FSISAC, and we provide you additional steps that have been taken by the CyberDefense program. Whether we are building additional signatures into these systems to identify the threat, or alert you on these new threats that are coming up. Policies, procedures, guidance. As we worked with different customers, one thing that we kind of came across is that many times the customer may change different systems. They may adjust policies for how or when they do certain processes, and that was necessarily an item that would come up on occasion through an audit or through an exam, and it was something that we needed to remediate. And so, as a process for this to become more proactive, the different processes and systems were put in place as part of the CyberDefense program. We provide the bank back a template on these different policies and procedures on what we are doing, and that way the bank can take those and adopt those as their own and become part of their information security policy. So that way we are saying that if the CyberDefense does a quarterly scan, vulnerability scan, the policy the bank has on, document policy the bank has, also shows that they are doing a quarterly scan, and keeps those systems in line and less likely to get criticism from your examiner or your auditor as they come in through reviewing those systems. These policies we provide these policies on an annual basis or as they are updated throughout the year. And again, this process for this is to be presented back to your IT committee, and then from there to be accepted by your board as part of your information security policy. That finishes our presentation for the CyberDefense program. From here we will take some questions and answers that have been submitted as part of the presentation. So one of the common questions we have received through this presentation has been, where is the SIEM data stored and backed up? So one of the challenges that many customers have as far as deploying these systems internally has been managing the sheer amount of data that's collected. As part of the SIEM solution we put in place with SecureWorks, this is a hosted system. So the data that's collected with the event logs, those are automatically uploaded to the cloud within SecureWorks Secure Cloud for not only for analysis but also for storage. Those logs are available online and active for a period of 12 months that we can go online and research and run reports against. After the 12 months, those are stored indefinitely in cold storage. In the event that we have to go back and review logs that are older than 12 months, we can pull those up. It does take a little bit longer, but we do have access to those logs to do further research on. Another question that we have is, what happens if the bank has an incident? So depending on the type of incident that it happens, it depends on how the alert comes through and what the process is. Most likely, if an incident is detected within the customer's network, The ticket will be generated through SecureWorks, comes into our ticketing system. Those tickets come in with a severity assigned of high, medium, or low. If it is a high severity alert, it comes in, and our customers are familiar with the different priorities we assign to tickets, whether it is a P1, P2, or P3. If it's a high severity alert, then it will be flagged as a priority 1 ticket within our systems, and our engineers respond accordingly. From there, our security analyst works with the account team, your primary engineer, to identify what is the source and what action may be taken. The information comes with potential remediation steps. In the event that we need to access or contact the customer, then we go in and contact the customer and work with them on that as well. Many times, though, we're able to take care of those items remotely through our different systems, through a NOC, and have access to that and resolve those. A question we had from a customer is around FS-ISAC alerts. I get a lot of FS-ISAC alerts, some very specific with long list of malicious hosts, etc. You mentioned FS-ISAC earlier, so are you applying all of their data to the different system security layers? And yes, so through our partnership with SecureWorks, they also receive alerts from FS-ISAC. Many of you are probably familiar with different alerts that you get from whether it's FS-ISAC or sometimes directly from the FDIC. That may include a list of IP addresses, malicious IP addresses, or different URLs. Those are fed into the system automatically, and within the IPS system is going to go ahead and block access to those IPs or the different URLs. And then also at the same time let us know by triggering an alert that something was blocked and something malicious is going on there, and that may require additional research onto what may be happening within that workstation or server. Another question we received is, does the customer also get the alerts? The method of flow of these alerts, it goes from our from the CTA, from SecureWorks, over to our ConnectWise system. Once that ticket is open within ConnectWise, the customer does get the notice. Those tickets are typically opened open under our primary technical contact with the customer. So whoever the primary technical contact is for the customer is the one that will receive the alert that a new ticket has been created, and the event that we do need to reach out for further information, they will also be the one that would reach out to address that particular alert. Another question we have is how many customers does CalTech have in this program today, and is it 24/7 managed? So 2 questions there. Currently, at the time of this recording, CalTech currently has 25 customers in it. We went through an initial beta testing process early in 2018, and from that point we had a select number of customers that were only allowed to join the program. After about Q2, we did start inviting additional customers to join the program, and since then we have now grown the program to over 25 customers. And this is very early on. There is obviously a lot of excitement around the program. Many customers have been joining this webinar here and have also enrolled the program, and we are currently actively enrolling new customers in the program. The second part of the question is this a 24/7 managed program? And it is. The different systems we put in place, the iSensor, the CTA, the Red Cloak, all these systems are 24/7. So that means that they're active in monitoring all the traffic and the events that are happening within the network there. In the event that there is a alert that happens, those follow our normal processes. And like I mentioned earlier, if it's a high severity alert, it will will generate a priority 1 ticket within CalTech's network, within CalTech systems, and then our engineers respond accordingly. So that does mean an after hours response if that's the case. If not, then it becomes normal business hours where engineers will reach back out to those systems to identify what the problem is there. Another question we have is, what is the difference in IDS and IPS? Great question. Initially, most IDS and IPS, the differences there is the detection versus prevention. So in the IDS, it is simply an alerting system. It is monitoring what is happening, and then it sends an alert to us to let us know something happened. No action is taken by the system automatically. Where the IPS, the prevention system, is actively monitoring that traffic, and then in real time can block traffic. If it detects there's malicious traffic going across that network, it can go ahead and prevent that traffic from going across. And that's a big differentiator. Within regulations, there's no requirement for IPS, but there is a lot of pressure, especially on our larger customers, that they do have an IPS system put in place or at least evaluated. do a risk assessment on providing an IPS. And so as we see the need and the demand increase for that, we felt that that was needed and went ahead and put that in place as part of the foundation of this program to include an IPS. Another question we have is who is responsible for managing and updating these systems? This is a fully managed system. That's the benefit of the CyberDefense program, is that we're taking on full responsibility for all these components that are being put in place. So when you think about the program, we are not only working with SecureWorks, Qualys, KnowBe4. Within those programs, there's many small components of the program. So we're dealing with all these different vendors and these different systems out there. We wanted to make sure that this system was easy for our customers to deploy and easy for them to not have to worry about. Because of that, this is fully managed, so we are taking care of not only the deployment of these systems, but also managing those over time. If there's an update needed to be applied to the system, we're taking care of applying those updates. If there is a modification to the alerts, we are doing that, and we work with these partners to go in and take care of those. Another question we have is, are these systems physical servers? There is a combination of physical servers and virtual appliances. The eye sensor is a physical appliance. It does go in physically delivered to the customer's network, and it sits in line between the firewall and the local network. The other systems, the CTA and the Qualys scanner, those are virtual machines. They're independent virtual machines that we install within the customer's network. They are compatible with the VMware environment. We spin them up, very low resources required to deploy these systems and maintain them. And that concludes the Q&A for this presentation. We appreciate your time in joining this presentation and hope that this has provided some more information regarding the program. If you have additional questions regarding the program or have more interest in us presenting this to you directly or your IT committee, we would love to be able to visit with you about that. Please feel free to reach out to CalTech, and we can coordinate with your account team and coordinate a presentation for your IT committee or your team there within the organization. We appreciate your time in watching this presentation and hope you have a good day.